YouTube, what's going on? It's Logan here, and today is going to be a little bit of a different type of video. Just need to record something that's been bugging me lately, and I think it's bugging a lot of other creators as well. So this is an open letter to YouTube, fix ContentID. So for the past 2 years, I've been producing music using royalty-free sounds from Splice. Now, if you're unaware what Splice is basically a sound library where users create music and upload it to the sound library for other users to download. And these sounds are royalty free, meaning they cannot be copyright. You can't copyright these sounds. No matter what song you make with these sounds, the songs themselves can't be copyright infringement upon other songs that use the same samples. So basically, Splice is an audio sample library where users pay a membership fee to access sounds, and through access to these sounds they can create their own music. And then when you shape your own song using these publicly available audio samples, you inherently create a copywritten piece because it is an original creative work. So you can't just take a sample off of Splice and then copyright it. You have to take a sample off Splice and produce a song, and then that song becomes a piece of your own creative work. So this can be a little bit confusing if you've never really looked into this before, but just some things to remember with Splice is a membership-based service that allows users to download download audio samples to be used to create their own music. Now, the issue is that YouTube runs on an old system of identifying copyright within user content. The main issue that users run into, especially myself, when I create a song, I create the song, I publish it through my distributor, upload it to Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, the whole nine, right? The big audio streaming platforms. The primary issue is YouTube. If you don't select upload to ContentID during the distribution process, YouTube automatically assumes whoever copyrighted the sample first is the owner of the royalty-free sound, which is absolutely bonkers. So my distributor, which is DistroKid, they explicitly tell you in the upload process you cannot upload any non-exclusive samples to ContentID. Very clear, very obvious. Does it stop people from doing it all the time? Probably not. But it is there, and they at least tell you, hey, don't do this, right? The problem is not every distributor does this. Some distributors just automatically submit content to ContentID. Like anything a person uploads is pushed to ContentID without any checks and balances. So something I've been noticing, and something that I've had to deal with over the past 2 years, is many times I'll have a song that has 4 copyright claims from 4 different artists, from 4 different distributors, that all are using the same royalty-free sample. Do you know how outrageous that is? That doesn't make any sense at all. A royalty-free sample cannot be put into ContentID. It is non-exclusive, meaning that it cannot be used for exclusive copyright use. And what that means for Content ID, so so say you get this song, which now has 4 people claiming copyright on your single piece, all 4 of those people are getting royalty payments out of any ad revenue generated from the video. Any ad revenue generated on YouTube Music goes to 4 people now. And the funny thing is, if you follow the rules and you don't submit your song to Content ID because it includes a royalty-free sample, you don't get the royalty. So it's a catch-22. You can't win because there's people who have already submitted the samples to Content ID, meaning they receive the royalties from any work that includes the royalty-free sample. And it's a completely new music landscape. I understand that this 10 years ago, this wasn't a thing. Like even 5 years ago, maybe it wasn't as big of an issue. In this day and age, we are able to take audio samples, break down a song bit by bit, and rebuild it in a way that's completely unique and new to the listener. That's the main path of production that I've taken over the past 2 years, because to me, I see that my primary skill set is in listening, finding the best sounds that go together and create incredible melodies, and many times that includes using vocal samples that are found in other songs. But just because the vocal sample that I use is in more than one song doesn't mean the 2 songs are the same. And that is where it gets super confusing, and it's very frustrating, because essentially the current system allows somebody to come in, create a basic song using a very great sample, submit it to Content ID, and as long as they're the first person to do it, or as long as they're one of the people who do it, they receive all the royalties for songs created with that royalty-free sample. So if this is confusing, then you probably haven't dealt with this process, but I'm hoping to make this a little bit more clear about why this is an issue. Now, YouTube offers a dispute process to handle these copyright claims. Now, YouTube doesn't handle any of their own copyright claims. This is the best legal loophole that their lawyers could come up with, so they can claim no responsibility on all this shit. But they're the ones in charge of this. They're the only platform where this is an issue. So YouTube, listen up, because this doesn't make any sense. Basically, when you have a dispute, it's you against the distributor. So it's me against TuneCore, me against Lander. These are multi-million-dollar corporations who hire some individual to sit there and deal with claims. Now, they have a very specific way they deal with all their claims, and most of these distributors are very intelligent in how they handle their claims. So whenever you have a copyright claim and you want to dispute it, you say, hey, this doesn't make sense. You can't copyright this content. So you dispute the claim. But most times, it says the distributor, the person who's who's claimed the content, has 30 days to get back to you. That's almost a month. So within those 30 days, all royalties are going to that distributor. They also have an option to appeal straight to the appeals process, where it's like, hey, if you truly believe this content is yours, you can skip straight ahead to this and it'll be settled in 7 days. But the caveat with that is that gives the distributor the power to not only remove your video, but to serve your channel with a strike that can ban your YouTube account. So it gives all this power to somebody who's already in the wrong, which doesn't make any freaking sense. So most of these disputes over copyright take over a month to settle. The average dispute settlement time in my processes, I've done hundreds of these things, guys, is 36 days. That is absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. It is ridiculous. It's time consuming. You have to write paragraphs out explaining what I've explained here to these distributors. They usually don't listen. They usually deny the first claim. So then it sends you, but they wait 29 days to deny the first claim if they're gonna deny it. They don't deny it within the first couple days. They wait the full 29. They wait till the very last day. Deny your claim on the 29th day, so then that has another 7-day window, so it's 36 days. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The process for making these claims is tedious because you're not only explaining where the sounds came from within your own piece, but how your piece is an original creative work, and then additionally, when after the 29 days, you have to compile documents that verify you own or have leased the licenses for the content within your work. It's very frustrating because even sometimes if you send over these licenses on the first go, you'll get denied. So these distributors, I'll use TuneCore as a fair example because I recently had a dispute with them over something completely different, over a membership claim. If you're with TuneCore, try canceling your membership. See what happens. You can't. So that's fun. I mean, they figured things out for me, but it is the most god-awful service I've ever heard of. They don't allow you to just click cancel on your account. And the reason for this, I believe, is because they got absolutely destroyed by DistroKid, but that's a completely different matter. So TuneCore, when you're in a dispute with them, their first move is to wait the full 29 days, then deny your claim. Then when you appeal it with proof of license for the sounds within your own creative work, they wait the full 7 days, they don't reply back, and they let it go. So eventually the claim is dropped. You see what I'm saying? But it takes 36 days. And within those 36 days, all royalties are going to another party, a party that does not have a vested interest in your creative work. This is a major legal issue for YouTube, and it puts not only the distributors at financial risk, but also YouTube as a platform at financial risk. So with that, I know this video might be a little bit confusing because if you haven't dealt with this particular issue, then you might not understand what exactly I'm talking about. I hope I laid it out in the best way possible. But two potential solutions that I see for YouTube to fix this Content ID nightmare. Option number one, partner with the royalty-free sound libraries. Load every single royalty-free sound, create a direct line, a pipeline between the royalty-free sound libraries and Content ID. And through doing so, any song or any creative work that includes a royalty-free sound is completely ineligible for Content ID. It doesn't sound that complicated. I'm sure Splice would be happy to join the party. I know there's other ones too. I mean, there's other services that do this. I think there's one called LoopCloud. I'm sure they'd be happy to sit down with YouTube and make this happen because users of their platform are probably going to them for support, trying to figure out how and why their song's getting copyright strikes when they're using royalty-free samples. They want to solve this issue just as much as the users of their platform do. So maybe that's the best option. Option number 2 would be updating ContentID to make it 100% match. And what I mean by this is you have 2 songs that use the same sample. It needs to be a 100% match between the 2 songs for ContentID to claim the other song. So you can't just copyright claim a song because they have the same vocal. That doesn't make any sense. If it's the same vocal, the same bass pattern, the same piano, the same guitar, the same cymbals, the same hats, everything matches on a 100% match basis, yes, copyright the song. But if it's only the vocal sample and nothing else matches, it's not 100% match, it is not a copyright claim. Those are my 2 potential solutions that I see for this issue. I don't know why it's so difficult for YouTube to implement something new in this area. Although I was looking at, just doing a brief Google search, it seems like ContentID is sort of a legacy system that they spent a shitload of money on to create. And instead of fixing it, they're just justifying the use of it. It's like Apple making their workers go back to the office because they built $1 billion office. None of the workers really want to be there, but they spent a bunch of money on it, so they got to be there. So, yeah, that's my message to YouTube. It's the only platform where this is a problem, and it's incredibly frustrating to put so much time and effort into creating an original audio work just for it to be copyright claimed the second I upload it to YouTube. And it creates additional work for me that I'm at this point where I don't even have time for it anymore. Originally I had time to go through every claim and write out how I'm the producer of this song and I have the right to use these things. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm at the point where I need to hire somebody to do it because I have hundreds of claims and I don't even get to claim other people's content. So people are just making money off of my content. It's insane, dude. So YouTube, figure this out. I know you guys just implemented some new ContentID stuff. That didn't fix the problem. The problem is very real, it's very alive, and it needs to be addressed immediately because there are tons of people who create in the way that I do, who create songs with audio samples from royalty-free platforms. And they have every right to do so. And every song that they create it bears no infringement upon any piece that came before it because they are royalty-free sounds. They are non-exclusive. Anybody can use these sounds. So if you look at any song in my library that I've created over the past 2 years, anybody can recreate one of those songs using the audio samples, the specific audio samples. As long as they have a Splice membership, they can recreate the song and it doesn't infringe upon my copyright as a producer. I can't say, hey, that guy copied me. No, I'm not owed anything from anybody else because I used royalty-free samples. The only royalties that I'm due are for sales of my own creative work. Not that complicated. I hope I explained this well enough. I'm gonna try to edit it in the best way that I can. Thanks for following along. Share your comments below, share your thoughts, tell YouTube, hey, we're shaking the tree. We need to get this fixed because this is ridiculous and it's 2024. The world's changed since whenever ContentID came into fruition, and you'd think they'd update it by now. I know it looked like the record labels were kind of bugging them to do this too, but maybe if we get enough people together and say, hey, Get it through your mind, YouTube. So yeah, subscribe, like, do the thing. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you don't deal with too many copyright claims. All right, later guys.